Welcome to the Home Business Podcast with Richard Captain Henderson, publisher of Home Business Magazine, and Sherilyn Colleen, managing editor. This how-to show helps you successfully operate your home-based business.
Greetings and welcome to the Home Business Podcast. I'm Richard Captain Henderson, your skipper at Home Business TV.
Hey, I'm Lynn, your co-host.
Let's cue for seeing Get Underway. Can entrepreneurs really turn pandemic obstacles into opportunities for growth?
COVID-19 led to near shutdowns of social and economic activity, and nothing in the business world will be the same.
According to today's podcast guest, Reid, the COVID-19 era calls for a new approach to business development, one that capitalizes on collaboration, not competition.
Reid is author of the best-selling book, 3 Feet from Gold, Turn Your Obstacles into Opportunities, and he asks the question, what are you not seeing?
So hello, Reid. Welcome to the Home Business Podcast. How are you doing today?
Always good, and then the crowds go wild.
So how is San Diego, or as we used to call him the Navy, Sand Dog, doing today?
It's absolutely beautiful. The beaches are reopening. People are coming out. And I got to tell you, it's time to get going back in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's for sure. So at the beaches, are they having the separation with, like 6 feet between blankets, or how's that? People are getting out to the beaches okay?
Yeah, they're asking everybody to have social distancing, but they're even opening the parks to go out and play some tennis and pickleball this weekend. So again, things are normalizing just a little bit, and I'm glad they are.
All right. Well, good. The West Coast is finally breaking open. Well, thanks for connecting in today.
Absolutely.
Well, let's discuss expansion opportunities. Overall, Greg, how can entrepreneurs turn pandemic obstacles into opportunities for business growth?
Well, it's really interesting. If you go back and look at history, it tends to repeat itself. And through every adversity comes an equal and greater opportunity. And for myself and many of my, successful friends, we're looking at what is possible on the other side of it. Now, listen, I'm not giving financial advice. I want to be very clear, but I'm going to give you a concept that very successful people do. It's called contrarian investing, blood in the streets mentality. When you watch the masses, you go the other way. So for example, when all this chaos started breaking out and we had a quarantine, I realized Starbucks stock went in half. So I'm not a genius, but I went and bought Starbucks stock. Why? Because I know in the next couple of weeks, when they start releasing everything, where's the first place you're going to go? Probably back to Starbucks. And I realized by capitalizing on some of those hidden gems and opportunities, just like the oil prices being the lowest in history and things of this nature, if you can be kind to your future self and see what's coming, and again, it's not a crystal ball, it's just using common sense and looking at history, you too can reap some of those rewards.
Yeah, I heard there's a lot of people sitting on the sideline right now ready to move into real estate. That's going to be like the next big opening is a lot of distressed real estate, but then a lot of people are sitting on money right now and interest rates are low, and maybe that's some kind of that contrarian thinking where you would look at real estate and say, wow, the bottom's falling out of it, but there's actually some opportunity there.
Well, absolutely. And even non-performing notes would be a great way to look at it. You don't always have to get into brick and mortar. You can see the paper side of it and things of this nature. I mean, there's always 2 ways to skin a cat, and I look for opportunities wherever they are.
Contrarian thinking. Well, I like that. COVID-19 has brought some paradigm shifts. I do hate that word, but sometimes it applies. Greg, why is capitalizing on collaboration, not competition, crucial for business and going into this COVID-19 post-pandemic?
Well, we're all seeing that right now. Look, our businesses have shrunk over the last couple months, but this too shall pass. One of the biggest things we have to understand is we don't want to over pivot, because as soon as the floodgates open again, we have a short attention span and memory. We're going to go back to our old ways quicker than people are expecting. So for example, I could not do my large scale, events that I normally do. So we took ours online, but it doesn't mean that my entire businesses can go online. It means in September, I'm planning to do my event that I couldn't do just a couple months ago. And I'm realizing also that some of I'd call them competitors, people that also do events, I called out to them and said, hey man, what are you doing? How are you adjusting? And what happened is we started doing some more of these Zoom calls where I'd invite my database to introduce to them, and they'd introduce theirs to mine. So now when the things open up again, we'll both have new fan base and expand our audience exponentially.
So like in that case, you're in a like everybody, you're in a distressed environment. And so that's going to shake people out. But for those that continue on and persevere, in your case, doing shows and presentations, there'll be, there's going to be less competitors, but the competitors out there, you're getting some synergy by then linking up with them, and you'll both hopefully do a little bit better when the smoke clears.
Yeah, absolutely. There's many of them that were out there that, again, they would invite me to speak on their stages. And, there's always this little feeling of like us against them. And all of a sudden that changed because we started picking up the phone and started reaching out and saying, hey, have you tried this over here? And more importantly, I said, hey, I've got a great team that just helped me do this amazing online event. If you want to use them, go for it. And I've got it out of the way. And what happened is that synergy started opening up more opportunities. And it's really neat because all of a sudden, like I said, you get new eyeballs and expands your database and your fan base just like that.
So it's pretty, you just reach out, I guess. I just started reaching out with some people in the publishing world. It was the same thing. We're really not viewing ourselves as competitors anymore.
No.
Would you just recommend to home business owners, whatever industry you're in, who your competitors are, just start by reaching out. It's pretty easy to do.
Yeah, and right now is also golden opportunity. In the biggest Bible of personal development, Think and Grow Rich, the biggest chapter was dedicated to the 6 ghosts of fear. And the biggest fear people have is the fear of criticism, the fear of judgment. And right now, no one's judging you. They're not thinking about you.
If you're surviving, you're not being judged anymore.
This is the greatest time to take advantage of that idea for a book or a movie or whatever you have. And that collaboration is more available than ever before. Example. If I got a really cool logo design and I know somebody's got a t-shirt manufacturing plant, but they can't open, and I know someone else who's a web designer and he's not getting a lot of work, well, guess what? You can collaborate, synergize, start a new business where you're equal partners. And when this pandemic opens up this summer, you've got a brand new t-shirt line that you can take to the local fairs and shows. The whole idea is there's many, many opportunities to expand your business beyond what you just know.
I think one of the things, typically maybe investments you would have had to make to bring those parts together aren't there. You don't have to make those investments anymore. People will collaborate and, contribute their portion to it. And then you'll come out all with a product or service to sell with less of an upfront investment, which,
exactly.
That's critical now also as people's cash flow is under COVID-19 stress.
Yeah, well, they always say it takes money to make money. In today's society, it takes connections and communication to make money. So what I'm suggesting to people is to start looking outside their normal reach. Look, if you got an idea for a book and you're a publishing company, for example, and you want to collaborate, all of a sudden there might be a new modality of ways to connect with each other and to go into that chosen field of endeavor. Start looking for the opportunities because they're everywhere. Just like
that's really good what you just said. Can you say that again? They're not money, but it's not money, but it's connections and collaboration. That was worth noting.
Well, you just said it, and it's true. I mean, the whole idea of today's society is it's not what you know, it's who you know and who knows you back. Start picking up the phone. How many times have we gone to an event and we wait for the perfect time? We meet someone, we put them in our little database.
And you never call.
Never. And right now is that perfect time to reach out because everyone's in that same situation and they're available because they're not having anywhere to go. So it's important to start reaching out to those connections.
Yeah, they're going to be home at least for the next week.
So all home businesses must develop a recovery plan. Greg, what strategies are key to staying profitable and afloat in the aftermath of COVID-19?
Well, again, I keep going back to this collaboration, and I want people to start thinking this way. So I'm just going to plant a seed of suggestion, and maybe it'll inspire you to do the same. So for example, I know there's a strip mall down the street, and there's a local pizza parlor, and he hates the guy who has a liquor store that's in the corner because it always takes all the parking spaces, and there's trash and there's stuff, and it's almost like, when you're a jet, there's a competition. And this might be the golden opportunity to go have a meeting of the minds and say, listen, how about an idea? Every time someone comes and buys a 6-pack, give them one of these coupons for 50% off a pizza pie. And what I'll do is every time I deliver a pizza, I'll give them, gift certificate for a discount for your 6-pack. That simple little collaboration could completely change the way you look at life and business. And we can start seeing things outside our normal, like you said, paradigm, so that we can have a brighter tomorrow.
I told you I hate that word though. But yeah, that's really good. I think a key point there is that this collaboration can start with something pretty simple and easy for both parties to comprehend, mutual coupons. I mean, it's not complicated. I imagine if you look at every different industry out there and the way you would collaborate, it probably starts with some pretty easy things both parties can do.
Well, that's what we're doing again in the event industry. I'm saying, look, if you are one of the people that go to the other events and you want to come to mine, I'll give you a discount to come check us out. And the same thing, I'll offer and extend that to them, because now all of a sudden we're getting people in the same pie. But more importantly, we're only recommending people that we know, like, trust, and admire. So I'm gonna be very clear, not some charlatan that, we don't trust and we can make a buck. They gotta be people that have been time tested and proven. But if you can open up that collaboration, amazing things are possible.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to always keep in mind that's a risk as you start to collaborate. You got to make sure you're linking up with people and other businesses that will, maintain your reputation. Just cycle it a little bit. How do you find the Zoom working? I mean, it's obviously not as good as an in-person presentation, but is it getting easier for the numbers you're using, larger numbers of people using Zoom broadcast?
Yeah, we normally do an event every year. It's called Secret Knock. It's the most exclusive event you cannot attend. And what's interesting is that we always have 200 to 300 people maximum, because we always cap it. And this last time we did a Zoom, and we ended up going to a worldwide audience. And all of a sudden, we've got new eyeballs coming to us that we never expected. But also what's cool is that we had the founder of Showtime Television, the founder of the E! Entertainment Network, the founder of Ugg Boots, the founder of Make-A-Wish, all these people were available, and they came on the Zoom with us, and now they're going to be available to come out in September. So it's really neat. So what I'm saying is, don't over pivot. Don't change your entire business if you're face-to-face to just Zoom, because things will go back and then you have to readjust. What I'm saying is hybrid it. So at my live event, I promise you what I'll do differently, what I learned is, yes, I will bring in these amazing visionaries, but when Tonino Lamborghini, Mr. Lamborghini from Italy, now I can just zoom him in up on the screen rather than pay $15,000 for a first class flight plus all the expenses, and have the best of both worlds. So I'm seeing the modalities both.
So you're going to make some adjustments. Everybody should be doing that, whatever industry they're in. In this case, you're having success with Zoom, and that opens you up to a larger pool of presenters, people that wouldn't be able to come down in person and do that. And you'll actually now everybody's going to be comfortable with working with Zoom and seeing video presentations. So you'll move forward post COVID-19 with a better product and a broader reach.
Yes. And we all should be coming out of this with a new skill set, or with a new idea for a book, or with a new business plan, or what have you. I'll give you another, really, it's out of the box thinking, but here's just my realities. When things started hitting and no one knew what was happening, we were all scared. You, me, everybody. So I called up my lawyers, accountants, my life insurance guys, and said, how do I look? And they said, man, you look awesome. When you pass away, if the worst case scenario happens, it's going to get millions of dollars. You got legacy of books. You got a star on the Walk of Fame. You're set. And I realized I had something called a great death style, meaning I was really good going out. So then I said, well, what's the other side of that? And I walked outside and I looked at my 3 brand new cars in the driveway I'm not allowed to drive. And I'm like, what's my new lifestyle going to look like? Do I really need this type of stuff? And what was the reason I was doing it? And it made me do a little pattern interruption, so to speak. So I started looking at what's important. So the next stage of my lifestyle will be completely different than it was before.
Yeah, I think this has kind of changed people's values on, what's really important, to get you thinking about, how to make some lifestyle changes when this whole thing finally blows over, breaks loose. Well, Greg, you emphasize the importance of working with what you call solutions-based people. How can a home business owner, a smaller entrepreneur do that?
Again, this isn't some type of rocket science. We've got access to more tools and resources than ever before. There's this new thing that was invented that I don't tell too many people about, but it's called Google. And if you go to this search engine, you can find anything and access to anybody you want. And that's what we do. And the most successful people are also the most available people. And I know it's weird, but it's true. If you're brand new at something, you're happy-go-lucky, you're fresh, you're cool. If you're at the top of your field, happy-go-lucky, you got nothing to prove. In the middle, pain in the neck. You're filled with ego. You're edging God out. You're finding your own voice. It's easier to get to the founder of, for example, Remax Real Estate Corporation that invented the billion-dollar juggernaut than your local Remax office president down the street, because that's filled with ego. So the importance is to jump to the front of the line. And by doing that, it can change everything. You look at everything and your learning curve in half.
That's interesting. So the people that have already clawed through the trenches and gotten to the top, they may be more open.
So they
For you
are
to approach.
Yeah, listen, if, for example, when I do my events, I don't bring in coaches, teachers, mentors. No one gives a darn about those people. I bring in the actual human who did it. So again, if you're going to start a nonprofit, meet the founder of Make-A-Wish. If you have an invention, here's a guy who created the magnetic strip on the back of a credit card. You know, if you want to get into politics, here's President Vicente Fox, or if you're into spy stuff, here's, you know, private Skype with Edward Snowden in Russia. And by having access to the actual people who've done what everyone else is talking about, everything changes because you're going right to the source.
As far as, like, you know, making connections, do you recommend, you know, you started off with Google and doing searches, but, you know, try to connect in through LinkedIn, more professional? And
Absolutely. Yeah, it's so interesting. This is going to sound really strange, but Instagram is the biggest thing. It's a DM. You get direct access. You wouldn't believe the people that I'm getting direct access to. And here's another secret for this: specificity. I don't want my brain to be picked. I don't want to go to lunch with you. I don't want to go to dinner. I don't want to have coffee with you. I don't know you. But if you can give me specificity, I'll give you all the access you want. And it works like this. When I want to get to the guy who started NASCAR, I didn't call him up and say that. I said, hey, I'm going to fly from San Diego to Florida to meet with you. I need 12.5 minutes of your time. From the second I open the door till the time I leave will be 12.5 minutes. I will start an alarm clock. When it goes off, if I'm not gone, kick me out. I'll ask you one question: why you didn't quit in the challenging times? Shut up. Well, the chance of those people going, I can do that, is pretty much 99.9999%. And it's that specificity that opens up the doors of opportunity. That's how I get through the doors.
you know, I want to put a little twist on that, because that is such good advice. So much communication now is still email, and so many people send emails, and it rambles all over the place before they get to the point. In the military, we called it BLUF, bottom line up front. And, you know, you've got to state in your first sentence or two, with that specificity, what it is you want. And, you know, what does that other person have to put out for that?
I'm gonna borrow that, because that's brilliant. I'll give you another great example. If you go to a seminar and you see some person you want to meet, here's how you do it. When they come off stage and there's 10,000 people and I'm getting attacked by all these different people and there's a long line, again, they say the nicest thing: how can I be of contribution? How can I be of service to you? That's nice, but I don't have time to do a whole resume interview with you. But if you come up to me and say, hey man, I just noticed on Instagram, you got 500,000 followers. I like your memes. Let me make you 2 free ones. I'll send them to your cell phone. If you like them, maybe you'll use me. Done.
Perfect.
All of a sudden, instantaneously, I know who you are, what you do, and you got access to my cell phone. That's all I do different than everyone else.
So all problems tie to relationships in some way. Greg, how can a business owner use downtime to better engage and connect with people?
I think we went over that question just now. And the whole idea is start reaching out. Don't be afraid. Again, the only thing that we're afraid of is judgment. And there's a bumper sticker that says, what would you do if you couldn't fail? Throw it away. Here's the question: what would you do the moment you stop worrying about what other people thought? You know, would you reach out to that person? Would you ask someone out for a date? Would you start that business? Well, your time is now. This is the exact opportunity where Venus, Pluto, and Mars is aligned. You'll never have a golden opportunity like what's happening right now. I know it looks like chaos, but it's not, because on the other side of this will be rewards that you can only imagine. Think about it this way for just a split second. As many horrible lives have been lost from this pandemic, and I understand, think about how many millions of lives that will be saved, and I'll show you how. For the first time ever, because of collaboration over competition, scientists and doctors are talking from Russia to China, and China to Ethiopia, and Ethiopia to India, and India to Korea. It's never been done. And I promise you, someone found some peptide in one foreign land that someone else in, you know, Cuba is looking for. And when they put together, will be the cure to AIDS, or the cure to cancer, or some other ailment that we don't even know yet. So what will come out of this will actually save the lives of millions of people.
Yeah, I mean, that just starts off with where we started this discussion, is that good opportunity is going to come out of this adversity. And it ties back to collaboration. I mean, in this case, you're forced to work together, and the medical, but as business owners, you're forced to work together too.
Absolutely. And the whole idea is to look for these opportunities where you create a win-win opportunity. That's the key to this thing. Look, if it's selfish and egotistical, it's going to be short-lived. But if you can find a way where you can help another person where it's a benefit for everybody, that's where success lies, and that's how you build relationships that last a lifetime.
The trouble with entrepreneurs, they map out so much of their time and everything is scripted, then they run out of time at the end of the day. What the good things you're saying here is every entrepreneur, they need to sit down every morning and say, I need to take steps on this, and not get, well, I'm gonna look at connections tonight after I watch the news. You gotta plan it into your day and make it part. It should be part of your business plan.
Yeah, well, here's another thing too. Again, don't over pivot and don't over plan. So, like, one of the greatest interviews I ever did with Truett Cathy, founder of Chick-fil-A. He's in the 3 feet from gold. And I said, I want to be a billionaire like you. What do I do? And he looked at me and said, stop planning. I said, what? I go, that goes against everything I ever learned. He goes, last year you had a lot of plans. I go, yeah. He goes, how'd that work out for you? He goes, I guarantee the first of this year you had plans that aren't going as you expected. He goes, you'll hit a goal from time to time because you're scrappy, but how it came to fruition didn't go as you planned on your other side. He said, look for and capitalize on unexpected opportunity. He says, if I'm sitting on my sofa in the living room and I want to get to the end of the street, that's my goal, and I will not take my eye off the prize. He goes, a planner is going to plan every step, or they're going to pause, take a break, watch out for sprinklers. He goes, I'm looking for opportunity. Did a kid leave a skateboard or a bicycle out I could borrow and make my journey shorter? If I get lucky, I'll wave down a neighbor driving by and hitch a ride to the end of the street. He goes, either way, I'll get to my goal. I'm just not so caught up in exactly how it has to happen. So I recommend people take that same period of time that they were going to plan, throw it in the trash, and start looking for opportunity. Who else out there can you collaborate with to make your dreams come true?
Got to throw in a military analogy because you're right on target. Another military analogy, but it was every plan is only good until the first shot is fired, and then we were told look for opportunities after that.
Amen. That's true, right? Mike Tyson. Everyone has a plan until you get hit in the face, right?
I hear he's coming back at 53 or something. He's gonna give it another go. But great. This has been a great discussion on finding COVID-19 opportunity, and you've given us a lot of good actionable steps. Do you have any final actionable steps that business owners can take working from home and find this opportunity?
Yeah, I wish we had a little bit more time because I'd like to give you two, but I'll just pick one of them. CPC. This completely changed my life. It's an acronym. CPC stands for Clues, Patterns, Choices. Completely transformed the way that myself and my billionaire friends look at life and success in business. And it works like this: accountability and responsibility for everything that happens. Stop blaming other people. It's all your fault. And it works like this. If I go out on a first date, I'm a single guy, and she's 20 minutes late, that's a clue. If I go on the second, third, and fourth date, she's 20 minutes late each time, that is a pattern. Now it's my final C, choice, whether I deal with it, adjust it, yell at her, break up with her, but it's not her fault. She's just late. Stop blaming and trying to change other people. How many times have we seen someone in business with a bad reputation? They cheat your friend. You do business because it'll be different. You get cheated and you're mad at the person. It's like seeing a rattlesnake rattle.
You had the pattern there.
Yes, it's like watching a rattlesnake rattle, bite your sister, you pet it and get bit and you're mad at the snake. Accountability and responsibility for every single thing that transpires.
Now, you would have been good in the military because that brings up another analogy. We were told at command school, it's authority, accountability, responsibility. Those are the three things that rule your life when you're leading other people, but also running a business.
I love it. And I'm going to do the final one because this is the biggest
Go
thing.
ahead.
I interviewed the guy who created string theory. If you ever heard of super string theory, the guy who created John Schwartz. And he said, successful people seek counsel where failures listen to opinion. And I said, what's the difference? He goes, opinions based on ignorance, lack of knowledge, and inexperience, like all your family friends who've never done what you want to do. Counsel's based on wisdom, knowledge, mentorship. People pave the way. If you go to a family friend and say you're going to write a book, they might protect you to keep you safe because they've never written a book. If you go to Jack Canfield, who wrote Chicken Soup, he's going to say, here's what you need to know before you get started. John Schwartz said, if we would spend our activity only seeking counsel and ignoring people's opinion, that's the day your life would change. Only seek counsel.
Greg Reid, thank you for being such a wonderful guest on the Home Business Podcast.
Thank you.
To learn more about Greg Reid and his book, 3 Feet from Gold, Turn Your Obstacles into Opportunities, or his keynote speaking, please visit gregreid.com or our podcast website for more information.
Thanks for joining us in this episode of the Home Business Podcast. Share your feedback with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and at our website, homebusinessmag.com.
Visit the website for information on advertising, subscribe to our newsletter. Please visit our sponsors. For more information, visit homebusinessmag.com or the expo at homebusinessexpo.com.
Okay, my favorite part. I'm Richard Captain Henderson saying, anchors away.
We'll talk with you soon. Until then,
Make it a great home-based biz day.